Hey everybody, it is JPT. Welcome to Rimworld, version 14C. Oh man, it's good to be back. It's good to be back in this thing. Now available on Steam. This is the DRM version, which means that I am not playing it on Steam. I'm actually downloading it, so I can just have it whenever and wherever I want, which is very convenient. As you may or may not know, I've been playing this for quite some time, so I'm very excited that new people are getting their eyes on it. So what we're going to do, first off, is we are actually going to go through the step-by-step process of creating a new colony. If you are not interested in that, feel free to jump ahead to the next video in the series. This will be 0, and you will want to watch number 1 when we get into the action of the colony. So starting off, go to New Colony. There are now scenarios that you can play, which is super cool. So you got your traditional Crash Landed. Basically, you start with 3 people. You get all this really cool stuff at the beginning. And then whether or not you have chunks and steel and all sorts of stuff scattered throughout the sort of area, that's pretty usual. I think we'll go with this one, unless the scenario editor spits something out that's interesting. This might be interesting for a side series where basically you're one person and you start with some research and you have all this stuff, so much stuff, but you are one man and one woman, I guess, and you are basically doing your own thing. This could be an interesting thing to play in the future, so let's not forget about this one. This one is pretty interesting too. It's the Lost Tribe. Your faction is a tribe, which means they are not great on the technology side of things. You start with more than the 3, though. You start with actually 5, but it takes maybe a little bit longer and to do things. Like research is maybe not your forte per se. And I mean, it looks cool. You get 3 pets, you get some other stuff, but maybe not the best one to go with. So, again, Crash Landed is what you have seen me do in the past, but this is a really cool thing they've added. So you can go to the scenario editor, go to edit mode, and you can literally go through and like change all this stuff. So like forced health condition, you usually start with cryosleep sickness. The chance of that is 50%, yada, yada, yada. We're going to turn that off, and we're going to randomize the seed. So if we wanted to, like I looked at these earlier, if we do JPT plays, like if you were to type in JPT plays, you and I would have the exact same stuff. Your faction's a colony. You start with 6 people. Most people are between 19 and 23, which is awesome. You arrive in drop pods, but you cannot sow plants on the ground. This is a game changer. It is a game changer. And you don't get an orbital trader that comes. So you literally have to trade by people coming to you. There would be no sense into making an orbital trade beacon other than talking to tribes around you. You get a random pet. You have a royal, you have 24 royal beds, which is ridiculous. Also, you have Labrador fur. You have 108 of that. So basically, you've chopped up some dogs. You get Megatherium wool, which is cool. And I mean, basically, you're like a rich young hipster colony, which is really funny. I'm not a fan of the fact that you can't sow plants. That has not being able to plant is kind of bad. So if you look at JPT, this one's even more interesting. Your faction's a tribe. You start with 4 people, most 43 years old. You do start with air conditioning though. You do get a husky and you get some limestone chunk. This is a very basic one that I'm not super keen on. What does my just first name do? Essay for the River. A tribe. You start with 1 person. 65 for jealousy. You can't get trader caravans. These are so hard. These are so hard. I am tempted to do this one. I'm so tempted to do it, but we'd have to research the hydroponics. Maybe this will be a streaming one, but for now, we'll go back. We'll just do Crash Landed, and we'll go to next. So this is where you choose your storyteller. So you get between Cassandra Classic, Phoebe Chillax, and Randy Random. Randy Random will usually result in the most entertaining part of the game, like just to where everything is random. You have no clue what's happening, random events. And the reason why you're not actually seeing these videos sooner is that some of the random events weren't actually scheduled in the game. So when 14A came out, it seemed really weird to me. I did record something and it just didn't feel right. So the whole random events thing is now back in action. I have done Randy Random. I don't actually think I've done Phoebe Shellax at all. Although she does give you time between disasters and stuff like that. We might do this, and we might do rough. Threats can be quite dangerous. There are no bonuses to colonist mood or crop yields. So that might be fun. But this is the standard one that you've seen me do. I think my last one, my last colony, which we just left them doing their own thing, was on Randy Random Base Builder, I think. But I think in this case, we're going to do Phoebe Shellax, and we're going to do rough. And we'll see how that goes. So here is where you create your world. This is super important. You need to pay attention to what I'm about to do here. So the world size, this doesn't really matter. It's the generation after that and the selection of your colony map that's going to matter. So starving, we're going to hit this multiple times. We're just going to be Julio. Okay. This doesn't matter. And we're going to click on generate. This part used to be sort of, it wasn't the best. It kind of broke some games. I'm tempted to do that. So here's like a crazy faction base, Executioners of Misery. It's a pirate band. So they live there. So I think the further away we go, the better. And you do kind of want to look at this stuff. The average temperature is really important, especially during the winter. In the summer, so like these are pretty mild winters because it's a flat, arid shrubland. Whereas like if you go here, it gets a little bit colder, and then of course like jungles are their own things in their own right. But you can click on these and see there's another faction base there. There's mountain people there. So like he's kind of changed it up to where you can see that. That's just all water basically. So not every place is safe. This is, a high elevation, so average temperatures are really low, that kind of thing. I think those are the only factions that I can see. So the more you zoom in, the more you get a good look at things. That might be interesting. 40 degrees, you could live in that. It is on the eastern coast. Desert doesn't seem like something I ever want to jump back into. But I kind of want to not deal with a winter. So this might be fun. This would be mountainous terrain, so like there would just be rocks everywhere, whereas that's flat, and we got some large hills there. So we're going to go with this site. Although we're going to have to do this probably later. Although this right here, what I just did, the advanced, this used to be like a two-step process. You would generate your world, then you would have to go in, choose your colony, stuff like that. So they've I'm hoping they've made it so that you could just do this part all at the same time. So you select your site. So this is Nova Mirfak. If you can handle it, I highly suggest doing 400 by 400. It's going to give you the most resources and space on the map. Starting season is probably also good. I always like to start in spring. Just because that gives you a better head start on planting crops. Performance may degrade at larger map sizes. I've never really had a huge issue with that. You may not be able to deal with that. So I would suggest doing, like it warns you here. When I had a slower computer, I could do it like here. But I'm going to do 400 by 400 because I believe I can handle it. So if you don't choose this map size, which we didn't do last time, we got stuck with a really small map and it kind of sucked. Actually, it really sucked. So we're going to select this site right here. Now we get to create our characters. This is the really fun part of the game. So this could take, honestly, I could do this for hours because you could randomize your people. So it's all or nothing. You can't, if you click on randomize, this guy goes away forever. There's no way of getting this guy back. So right now we have Shorty, Belle. So she has cryo sleep sickness, and her father is this guy right here, which is, wait, What? Yeah, so this is... Oh, this is a guy. Sorry, I thought that was a woman. I took that as a female haircut. So this is father and son, which is pretty cool. He's got a scratch scar on his leg. So they start with a increased thing here. Incapable of firefighting is pretty terrible. These two people are really terrible. Like the fact... How old is he? He's 54, 27, 27. This is their chronological age. So basically they've been in cryosleep for, almost 50 years, which is pretty cool. They added that recently, and I thought that was pretty cool. This guy he's a pyromaniac. He likes to see the world burn. Sorry, buddy. Whoa, you look crazy. He's incapable? None. He's cold tolerant. He's also a psychopath, which is pretty bad. No empathy. Suffering of others doesn't bother him at all. Doesn't mind if others are butchered, left unburied, imprisoned, or sold to slavery. So I kind of like that. We kind of need somebody like this that's young. And then also, he wants to go bionic, which is pretty cool. You want people that are kind of like that. So like this guy would not like this guy because this guy likes bionics. This guy does not. We're going to get rid of this guy anyways because he can't firefight. This guy seems pretty legit. So we're going to call... So this is his nickname. So we're going to call him Vlad. Vlad the Barkeep, which is pretty awesome. He was a child spy. Now he's a bartender. So he gets a +2 melee, social, and cooking, which is pretty awesome. +5 shooting and research. So he would be a good hunter. Probably a decent cook. Not great at research, but he would overall not be someone terrible to have. He can grow. Bell, he's a fast walker. He's psychically sensitive, so that could be an issue in the future. He's got really good socials, so he's really good for trading. He's a decent shot. He's not great at constructing. He's not a great grower. So if we were to keep him, and we'd probably go for a woman, so we've got two 20, mid-20 guys, I'd like a woman. So, and I'd like one of them to be somehow related to one of these guys. So we click on random, and if they're not related, that's fine. But like, you don't want somebody like this. I mean, you might think, oh, this is really fun and this is really hilarious that they can't do labor. Look at this. They can't do medicine, cooking, construction, growing, or mining. Those are people that you want later down the road. Although she's a great fighter because she was a soldier and she was also a medieval lord. So look at that. Cooking disabled, constructing, repairing, growing, mining, plant cutting, smithing, tailoring. She just doesn't do anything because apparently she is a higher up. We don't like that. I don't like to start with that. I think it'd be hilarious if she showed up and she tried to join our colony and everyone would hate her. But I can't have her. So here's another female colonist. She can't do intellectual, so research is going to suffer if we do this. Although we got a 4 there, that would be maybe okay. She's really good at medicine and she's really good at cooking. No one at this point grows, which is fine. So let's see. She's a fast walker. Or no, sorry. She's iron-willed, and she is a fast walker. That's really cool. Normally... and she could be Vlad's lover. Perfect. This is perfect. So she's probably not going to be a soldier, but you want to start with... Here's the 3 things I think you should always look for. You should always look for medicine. You should always look for growing, and you should usually look for research. All the other stuff you'll usually fall in place. So we have... Can I change that just to Paula Cooper? So we got Vladislav Carlson. We got Paula Cooper, and we got Scrooge Bell. Can we just call him Mick? Mick Scrooge? Yeah. So I'm okay with this. So 2 people are going to start with cryosleep sickness, which kind of sucks, but it goes away. So since she was a house servant, she's good at cooking. She's got a -3 of growing, which kind of sucks, and a -3 of mining, but she can't even she can't even research. But I'm okay with this. So we go ahead, make sure everyone's good, give them the nicknames. You can rename them later. So we got Vlad, we got Mick, and we got Coop. Oh, we'll call her Coop. There we go. Coop. We'll just keep Scrooge. I think Scrooge is hilarious. So we got Vlad, Scrooge, and Coop. So that is pretty much the step-by-step process in which you create your world, you find your people, and you go from there. Then it generates your map, and you're all set. Pretty cool stuff. So right here is the really important part of the game where you want to get everything sorted before you actually start playing. So I usually leave it paused. So all your controls are down here. You can see it's the 1st of spring, you're outdoors, it's clear, that's the weather indicator, kind of the time of the day. I'm not actually sure what this is because this seems new. Oh, this is the time, this is my time. That's really interesting. That is the time in my world, which I'm not sure I want to show you guys, but hey, that's kind of interesting that they're like, hey, by the way, maybe you've been playing this too long. Just in case you need to see what time it is, here you go. That's really funny. And of course down here is sort of the variation of the terrain and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you right now how I set up the game. Again, if you're not interested in this part, go ahead and skip to episode 1 of the series, which I will be recording soon thereafter. So I'm going to go ahead and hit pause, let them or unpause it, let them crash, and immediately, come on, there we go, immediately pause the game. And so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and save it. Here's all of my saves. See, they're like, oh, this doesn't seem to be the right version. That's right, because this is Rimworld Alpha 14, episode 0. I highly recommend always saving before you do anything. Oh, we got Grigori, who is a Yorkshire Terrier, who is Vlad's dog. So we're going to turn on obedience, and release doesn't really, and it's advanced, so this is great. Oh, he's too small to haul. Well, that sucks. And he's too small to train on that as well. Well, those are disabled. Well, that sucks. It's just a dog at this point. That's kind of a big bummer, but it is what it is. Let's see what this is. Oh, it's a turkey. Oh, that's brand new. I've never seen the turkey before. By the way, this is a mod. I've never actually played with mods before, and I know this was kind of brought in from that. But usually what I like to do is I like to select all this stuff, and F is your quick key. So basically what that's going to do is that's going to say, hey, it's not forbidden. You can actually pick up this stuff and use it. We'll also do that on all the meals, all this stuff. And the knife is good. There's a pistol, there's some medicine, and there's a survival rifle. I don't remember. Okay, so you're good at shooting and shooting. So since you have a slight passion for it, I'm going to have you equip that pistol. I'm going to have you equip that survival rifle. And you, my lady, where's that knife? You equip that knife, since she is not great at either one, but she needs to be able to protect herself. One of the other things, too, that you'll want to set them to is change how they react to nearby enemies or like animals that are crazy and stuff. So she's set to flee, but I'm actually going to set these guys to fight. So they're going to attack. So, you know, they're going to be aggressive. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. So here you'll again want to select that, and you'll want to just look around the map. So see how much bigger this map is? Look at this thing. This is ridiculous. Guarantee you there's some weird bad guys in that. This could potentially have some cryo sleep caskets. It's big enough for that. You just want to kind of scope out the map. So here we've got a geyser. We've got some crashed ship parts here. I would just go ahead and say, hey, go ahead and deconstruct these, because they're going to give you parts, which is really interesting. Yeah, yield useful steel and components. So here you've got some steel. Select it, hit F. You got some meals on wheels. This is all that stuff that you can say, hey, I want to start with this. And honestly, if I were anybody, I would have probably been smart. Oh, sweet rats. I would have probably been smart to say, hey, start with a few more meals and stuff like that. Compacted machinery is, you know, still kind of a newer thing. You're going to want to do that. Cool, we've got so many different animals. I'm so glad we started here. There's an ostrich there. We could claim those bricks. I doubt very seriously there's anything up in there. And so you want to give, oh, sweet. Gold, get gold as soon as possible, because you're going to want it when you go to build, like after you build your research bench, you're going to end up needing gold and plasteel to build stuff. So that's really cool that we actually have gold on the map. Whether or not we have plasteel is still to be seen. Again, probably once we break into there, we'll have some bad guys. Bears, we've played with bears before. They're not to be messed with. I think that's a cougar. Yep. Got some deer and does, that kind of thing up there. potentially get tamed. So again, you just want to kind of scope out the things. So like inside these were probably the mechanoids, and those can potentially screw your people up psychically. You got some boom rats there. I would not recommend shooting them. All sorts of really cool stuff. So again, we're just kind of getting the lay of the land. Oh, more gold. So that's great. That's great that we have gold, because that's really going to help us out in the long run. There's a bunny rabbit. There's another cool emu. All sorts of really cool, interesting animals that could potentially cause us some fun, which is kind of what you want. What's that? Oh my gosh, that's a megatherium. Very interesting. A type of ground sloth, giant solitary herbivores, long extinct after being wiped out by the natives of Earth's America continent. Awesome. The ground sloth was later brought back using advanced cloning and artificial gestators. Well, that's really awesome. I like it. So it's really kind of hard to look at the whole map. So like I almost missed those. So honestly, like if you hold down shift, you can scroll really fast. So this, hold on, this could make you kind of sick if you're prone to do that. Oh, jade. Perfect. We got some jade. You're going to want to mine silver as soon as possible. This could maybe start off to be like a really nice temporary shelter, depending on how far away our people are to it. I feel like we're really far away. Where are we? I don't even know where we are. So we want to look out for stuff like that. So finding little buildings like that could lead to a good start. So we saw those survival meals. Again, you gotta pay attention, otherwise you're gonna get burned if you don't collect stuff. And stuff sometimes just randomly shows up too, which is really convenient. What's that? An ibex doe. Interesting. Yeah, so the animals have definitely gotten a boost in this version. Okay, so we're right here. Very, very interesting. So there's a geyser there, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend starting right where you land. You might find a better location to move to. I would recommend going to where like there is a geyser, and potentially getting started there so that you can get that power source really well and protect it. So yeah, this is just kind of a process. It's not for everyone. Again, jade's right there, which is great. Oh, compacted. Oh, this is the best map ever. Plasteel. Oh my gosh, we're good. We're golden. This is really going to help us in our thing. What's really also funny about those scenarios is you can actually have end of world scenarios set up so that within a certain number of days, the world just kind of ends. And so your goal for this game is to get off the planet. Like you just want to get off the planet and save as many people as possible. So that's really what it comes down to. And you're going to need a lot of plasteel and stuff like that to make that happen. Okay, so we're going to look at our people. We're going to zoom out. I'm seeing a geyser here, which is really close to the map for me. It's a little too close for my taste. We have a little bit of water here. We've kind of got this building here, and we've got this here. So I'm almost inclined to move my people up here. There's some animals. We're kind of protected. There's this building here, which could be kind of interesting. So basically, I could see myself building sort of some fences like this way. Close that off. Close that off. Oh, definitely close that off like that. And close that off. So basically, making this part my home, which is pretty awesome. So that's kind of what I'm going to do is we're going to set them up there. We're going to set them up some beds. So we've got some sleeping spots. Go ahead and let's maybe. Oh, this is cool. So they've got some different icons and stuff. So we're going to deconstruct that because I do want to kind of give them a little bit of their space. And animal sleeping spot. Boom. So this is going to get them started with that, and we're going to put a wood door right there to help close this off. So inside or outside it's 55 degrees because it's springtime. And so we have another building potentially here as well. We might set this up for prisoners, for example. So we just do a wood wall like that and do that, and for fun we could just do that. So this would get roofed off and we could set prisoners for there because you're going to want to do that as early as possible. Another thing you're going to want to do is you're going to say, hey, I want a stockpile zone. So maybe instead of doing prisoners, you could do an interior stockpile zone. But guess what? Not really necessary. So we're going to do storage. It's going to allow everything except for corpses. I don't want corpses there. Just turn those off. And I don't want chunks either because that's stone and slag and stuff like that. Body parts, natural and artificial. That's kind of interesting that they finally separated those because you don't have to refrigerate artificial ones, from what I understand, if that's still the case. Quality is a really big thing that you can adjust. I just started messing with that the last time around. And we're going to say this one is important for now because eventually we're going to build some stuff. So once they get started, they're going to start moving stuff back and forth. The way they know how to start stuff is through obviously work schedules. So I read something the other day about these, and so I might look that up beforehand. But you don't want to restrict them to allowed areas. So like if you say home and you actually go and look at your home area, right now we don't have a home other than this part right here. So if you said, hey, stay in the home area, they would only stay in this area. And so for that, I actually want to set my animals to be that. So right now, the dog, who apparently is male, is an adult. He doesn't slaughter tame animals, I guess, but he has obedience in releasing. So like, that's, oh, you could set him to be slaughtered. Okay. That seems kind of be new. Or you could actually set up an animal to have their own area. So for example, if you wanted cows or anything else that you domesticate, you could actually have a separate area for them, which is a really cool thing. I will probably mess with this later. Right now I'm going to leave anything for now, but you can set their sleep and work schedules, which is pretty interesting. It's kind of a little bit like Prison Architect in that manner. But what we want to do is we want to set up their work schedules. I like manual priorities. You always want everyone to be a firefighter. Like it's their number one priority. So 1 means that's their highest priority. 4 or blank means they won't do it. So like research, not even available for Coop. We saw that earlier. So you always want them to be number 1 on firefighting, patient. Coop is our doctor, so she gets number 1 on that. They have a little bit of an interest in it, so 4 for now. Barkeep, doctoring, not even going to be trying that. Bed rest, again, number 1. Flicking, it's not as important to me right now, but eventually somebody or all people will run around and flick, depending on how else this other stuff goes. So Scrooge actually, ironically, has really good social skills. So you want them to be the warden. So you set that to number 1. So they'll make that a priority. Everyone else can go talk. Maybe make Vlad sort of like a 3 or 2 in that sense. Handling, which is an animal skill. So handling gets a 2 there for right now. You're not great, but hey, I don't mind it. And you're not terrible, so 3 for that. Someone needs to be the cook. And so in this case, Coop is going to be our cook, unless she has another skill. That makes sense. You have a passion for it, so I'm going to set number 4. Why not? Hunting, if you're pretty decent at it, I'm going to give you a higher skill. So for right now, Vlad and Scrooge, one of them could be our hunters. Constructing, everybody needs to construct whether or not they are good at it or not. Vlad seems to be a pretty good constructor, so that's going to be number 1. Sometimes this could be 3 or 2, but it is what it is. So repairing, everyone should at least be set to repair, so they have that option. But in this case, construction is a really good skill of Vlad's. Growing, nobody has good growing skills, if I remember correctly, but somebody needs to be our grower. So in this case, Scrooge right now doesn't have a high priority job, so it's going to be you. Sorry. You're going to mine. Right now, it looks like you could mine, and it wouldn't hurt if you set mining to be our priority. If this makes sense, so like you just want to go through, and so they start on the left, and they go down to the right. So they go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, where's my 2s? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So you kind of have to figure out the flow of things, and this is going to get adjusted depending on more people coming in, people having better jobs or better skills, that kind of thing. Plant cutting is important for getting trees right away. So maybe somebody becomes a 1 on that. Smithing, honestly, smithing hasn't really been a huge priority for me in the last few times, but we'll do that. Tailoring, this will come in later, but you still want to go ahead and give people the ability to do it. You have a passion for art, which is fine, whatever. Crafting, workstation, stone cutting, smelting, and more. Again, that could play in a little bit later, so we'll set it to be a 3. Hauling, oh my gosh, hauling. I hope they have fixed hauling. So right now we want everyone to be #1 haulers. Cleaning becomes important as well. So eventually somebody's going to be cleaning the floors like a boss. So for right now I'm going to do that. And research, looks like you're going to be our #1 researcher. You can try it if you want. So that's kind of how you set priorities. Again, this will change. This will change, but we haven't even started playing yet. And I'm already like 30 minutes in recording this video because it's so important. You don't understand. Well, you do. You might understand, but just understand that it's so important to do this stuff before you start playing, because otherwise you get caught up in it and you're like, why are these people acting so crazy? And on this, you can do automatic priorities. That's fine. You can do that and the game can figure it out for you. But I really like controlling my people. I'm the puppet master. So here's the other thing. So right now we have some really nice people around us, which is really good. I like that. So these people will probably be visiting us. These are 2 Outlander towns, which is great, which means, and they hate these people. Everyone. So it's a good chance these people may not even attack us. We might be able to get them on our side because they're tribes. Good way to do that, honestly, is to let them attack, imprisonate their people, and release them. And they say, hey, that's cool of you. Your hostile level goes down. But these people will probably always be the people that come after us because they hate everyone. So that could be interesting. We got the history. Right now it's just flatlined, but you want to see it do this. You want to see it go up and onward. Statistics. Right now you can see that I've been playing this map for 13 minutes on this and the wealth and all that stuff, which comes in handy later. Here is your research menu. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. This stuff looks really interesting. However, you can still look at research projects. Sweet. A mixture of meat and plant matter that doesn't go bad for a long time. Great for traveling. Awesome. So like this stuff we'll want to look at. All this stuff looks pretty normal. And I'm sure there'll be stuff that they've made you have to research before you can actually build it, which is fine. Totally fine. And then, of course, there's your menu. So architect, that's where you get to all these fun menus, work, restrictions, that kind of thing. So hopefully this has been helpful to you, or at least entertaining in one way or another, so you can kind of see how we start things. Feel free to watch the next episode, which will be episode 1, where we start things off. Because I like doing that. I like to just do all this stuff and then just jump right into it. But I wanted to kind of show you my process. So if you enjoyed this part, by all means, leave a like. Let me know what you guys think. And stay tuned for more Rimworld in the future. So until next time, this is JPT. Go play your games. And I'll be seeing you.